Every summer, I get hit with the urge to play Super Mario Sunshine. If I were to sum up the essence of summer in one game, this would be it. Amusement parks, sunsets, and whatever this thing is. Super Mario Sunshine is actually the first Mario game I played, and it's left such an impression on me since the GameCube that I just had to buy the Switch copy. And as I replayed Sunshine, I went through a feeling of bliss too. Oh yeah, I hate this. I remember now. Don't get me wrong, I love Sunshine, but replaying the game definitely reminded me of the headaches. Oh yes, the headaches I went through when I played Sunshine as a kid. With the many ups I experienced, there was also the many downs, and it makes you wonder, was the game really as good as I remembered? A part of me says yes, but I also admit that if I hadn't played Sunshine when I was a kid, maybe my opinion of it today would be different. So I find myself asking the question, is Super Mario Sunshine worth playing? The short answer is yes, but that doesn't mean the game is untouchable from criticism. For instance, Sunshine gets very repetitive. It has an underwhelming start. When we first land, our plane comes to a sudden halt due to a polluted piranha plant blocking the strip. While there, we need to figure out a way to clean up this mess. The way we can accomplish this is with the help of our new companion, Flood. And we actually faced this enemy 3 times in a row. Yeah, 3 times. Talk about an overkill. Once on the airport strip, once on Isle Delfino, and then again in episode 1 of Bianco Hills. We actually faced this enemy more than 3 times, but we get a bit of a breather before we face it again. To have to face the same enemy back to back just feels redundant, and Sunshine does this a lot with the enemies you face. Although later on in game, they make sure to space it out. So for example, in episode 2 of Bianco Hills, we battle against PD Piranha, and then again later in episode 4. And as much as I love PD Piranha is one of my favorites. I wish I could main PD Piranha in Mario Kart. Don't get me wrong. I do admit that some bosses did not need a second fight. Serena Beach is actually a solid example of this. Episode 1, we're faced off against a ghostly manta ray that leaves trails of electric goop. We do not face this boss again, and it's perfect this way. There was nothing more needed for a second fight. It was done right the first time. Instead, the next boss fight in Serena Beach goes to King Boo, and it adds a nice change of pace for the player. Another repetitive level in Sunshine is the Shadow Mario levels. They are one of my least favorite levels in Sunshine. But if you're a Sunshine speedrunner, they're probably your favorite, let's be real. They're quick and easy. It's not that the Shadow Mario levels are inherently bad, but they're kind of boring. The first few times it makes sense plot-wise, like when Shadow Mario kidnaps Princess Peach or was holding onto a Yoshi egg. But other than that, the Shadow Mario levels fall flat. They're not exactly memorable and they all feel the same. I think Shadow Mario should have just stuck to Isle Delfino. That way the Shadow Mario episodes could have been replaced with something more interesting. Or they could have done something to amp up the Shadow Mario episodes. Piña Park episode 1 is a perfect example of this. In episode 1, you chase after Shadow Mario who leads you to a corner in the back of the park. And it leads us into this fight against Mecha Bowser. This is actually the only Shadow Mario episode that I love. I wish episodes where we chase Shadow Mario led us to more elaborate fights like we had with Mecha Bowser. If you're going to include Shadow Mario into a level, really play into that. But instead, the Shadow Mario level falls into the shadows like his name pertains. You also can't get Sunshine sprites out of the intended order. So for example, you have to obtain the Sunshine sprite from episode 1 of Rico Harbor in order to play episode 2. However, there is an exception to this, which is episode 1 of Bianco Hills. You can actually skip the polluted piranha plant in episode 1 and make your way over to PD Piranha. On your way there, you can talk to this Pianta and he'll make a comment about how you're getting ahead of yourself. I thought this was a pretty cool detail. Technically another Sunshine sprite is also available, which is the one you can get from collecting 100 coins. And the gameplay at times is janky at best, which takes away from the experience. For instance, the diving levels in Sunshine are incredibly stiff. When you work as an eel dentist, the level is more tedious than it needs to be due to the control. And for collecting red coins from a fish, you have the chance of overshooting yourself. As much as I visually enjoyed Noki Bay, these episodes hindered my experience for it, or the Panchico machine. Concept-wise, I think these episodes were interesting and I thought the eel was kinda cute, which is a first for me because the eels in Mario are often one of my worst nightmares. Don't get me started on the eels in Galaxy. Anyways, the eel and Sunshine had an interesting design, but gameplay-wise, it sadly could not match up, and a lot of levels that I ended up disliking were often due to this. While the enemies in Sunshine can at times feel underwhelming, visually the game captivates me. Gelato Beach, Piña Park, and Noki Bay are all places I would love to visit, and I like the little details about the different quirks and traditions for each location. For example, in episode 8 of the Pianta Village, the Piantas are celebrating the Fluff Festival and can be found dancing. If only I could join, but all I can do is jump. The one time I wish I could do an emote in a game. While in episode 8 of Gelato Beach, the residents are having their own celebration as well with the Watermelon Festival. Gelato Beach also has a little storyline about the Sandbird which takes place from episodes 2 to 4. These little details about the life that goes on in Ao Delfino are what I look forward to exploring. I also love talking to all the NPCs and hearing what they have to say. The exact opposite of what I like to do in person. They always have something new to say with each and every episode, and sometimes they got their own little plotline as well. Like with the Chuckster family at Bianco Hills, in one episode, the mom is wondering where the kids have gone, and some villagers question if Shadow Mario has something to do with the missing children. This piqued my interest, and so I sought off to find the so-called missing children, but in fact, they were just playing by the lake, which is different from where they usually play. I don't think the dad cared, by the way. I don't think he cared at all. By the next episode, you can find the Chuckster mom yelling at her kids for not informing her where they went. You also have the Doot Doot sisters who are not as nice as they look and don't really like their job. In one episode of Serena Beach, the Doot Doot sisters chose to perform at a spot they believe won't bring them much attention. This backfired though, as they're forced to continue to perform for guests who refuse to go. It's funny because even the ukulele guy is trying to send them the hint while singing. Different NPCs got different stories, different personalities, and the voices make me laugh. The Piantas also react when you jump on them or spray them with water. If you spray them with water, they'll make like a sneezing sound effect, but if you jump on them, they'll yell at you. While the Noki will go into their shell if you jump on them, but the one type of Pianta that gives the player a taste of their own medicine is the Chuckster. Those Piantas will throw you for the good or bad. I wish you a safe landing. I believe the main method of transportation in Isle Delfino is through being chucked. There are no taxis, no cars, only Chucksters. That's the only explanation I have for how they're able to reach questionable locations. And while some Sunshine sprites were a headache to get or just not interesting, there are still a good chunk of levels I enjoyed. Some of my favorite levels include the Chain Chomps at Pianta Village, replaying the secret cave missions with Flood, blooper races, and more. Some Sunshine sprites are also not limited to episodes but exploring the world. Super Mario Sunshine encourages the player to explore and interact with their surroundings. You never know what you can find. You can even find a couple of Sunshine sprites from cleaning the bells at Isle Delfino, as well as the Sunshine sprites you get from turning in blue coins. Blue coins are a hit or miss for players. You either love them or you hate them. Personally for me, I like the challenge to collecting and finding blue coins. I do wish though that there was a way for us to keep track on how many blue coins are per area on the map. For example, you have 5 out of 5 blue coins for this area rather than me having to Google it. But you know, exploring for blue coins helps encourage the player to search their surroundings. Some blue coins are also not available until a specific episode. For example, in one episode of Gelato Beach, you need the help of Yoshi to have access to a blue coin. However, Yoshi is not accessible in every episode of Gelato Beach. I do understand why this can be annoying though, especially for players who prefer to collect all the blue coins in one episode. So this will be a matter of preference. For me, I like that it's spaced out. Overall, Super Mario Sunshine is a game worth playing, at least for me. Even though some enemies are repetitive, I think the game balances it out with its other aspects such as the silly habits of the Piantas, or the silly memorable levels. If anything, Super Mario Sunshine is a game where the NPCs shine instead of Mario. And if they were going to release a new Super Mario Sunshine, I would love to learn more about the people and their culture. For the episodes where we get snippets of their daily life, it leaves me wanting more. And that's probably why I'll continue to revisit Ao Delfino for years to come. The aspects I loved about it when I was a kid, I can confidently say are the same features I love about Sunshine today, and even now there's new things I'm still learning about the game today as I replay it. For example, after you get the cage Sunshine sprite in Rico Harbor, there will be a blooper there the next time. You need to defeat that blooper in order to get a blue coin, and I would always do this by going by myself But I recently discovered in episode 8 this chuckster saves you the trip and tosses you there. So you know, not all chucksters are bad. With that said, what was your favorite area in Sunshine? What was your least favorite? Do you think Super Mario Sunshine is a game worth playing or even replaying? Whether your opinion differs from mine, I would love to hear it, and if you're interested in more Mario content from me, let me know in the comments below, and to like and subscribe. This is Little Lemon Drop, dropping out. See ya! Bye bye!